Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Yes, my hair is wet. Yes, I ran out of time. Yes, I'm a human being. I just ran out of time. Anyway, we have a banger tonight. We last week or whenever January 9th was, whenever that was, we showed a city council meeting with Councilman, was it Michael Jackson, I think? Um, Unhappy. He's back. They're back. And it's better. It's better this week than it was. Last week is super spicy. You're going to love it. Okay, we hear him break down. We also, it's sort of like 3 clips. Okay? His first long rant clip. Then there's another rant clip. And then there's another councilman that also has to rant a little bit. Here we go.
Maybe Councilman Velez could help us with chat GPT. I'm sorry, Council President. And you're saying that there's published, and how long have we been under these key influences? Each town sets its own fee schedule. So checking with your specific local construction code is crucial. In New Jersey, there is not a single statewide minimum subcode fee. Man, you're just gonna come here and lie to my face, dude. Like, I'm trying to understand this. What is the minimum fee schedule for the state of New Jersey? You're the assistant director. You come in before this council and telling me that we're under the minimum state required fee.
That's correct.
So
Why would you say that I'm lying to you?
what is the minimum fees that the state requires?
I would then strongly advise that you contact DCA, sir.
Strongly
Now,
advised.
one,
I'm
not the
contacting
construction
you.
official, and
I'm talking to
giving you an
you.
answer right now.
You're here
Point.
presenting to me
Then you're
a
calling me a liar.
non-factual. You are a liar.
No, sir.
You are a liar.
Strongly advise that you
What you're
take-
doing, what you're doing right now is
point of
bringing.
order.
Do you understand this is a quasi-governmental agency
Point-
that you
point-
come in here taking testimony before us, rendering false information can be considered a criminal?
No, it's not. So you
How is it not?
Mr. Washington,
I strongly advise
You're here-
contact DCA. Yes, I
Director,
am here, and I'm not the construction
point of
official.
order, point of order.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
One
wait a
second,
minute.
Councilman Jackson.
Okay, what's the point of order?
Just one second. So, 2 people cannot speak because anytime a point of order is called, you have to call the violation. The councilman has the floor. I understand your concern.
We have a dialogue. He can
One
communicate
second,
that.
Councilman Jackson. So if you don't have it before you, just send that information at a later time.
Wait a minute,
Councilman
wait a minute,
Jackson.
wait a minute.
Councilman Jackson.
The facts that he's presenting tonight is that the city of Paterson is far under the state required minimums. Now, we are connected to the internet. This is public information that the state does publish. I'm incapable at the moment of finding this minimum that you're referencing. Then you're going to tell me, as the body, a member of the body in which you're presenting these non-factual contexts to, that I need to contact DCA for something that you're presenting to me, that you came here, sir, yet again, unprepared.
Yet again, remind me, when was the first time you and I talked about this?
It wasn't about this. It was about you taking defense of the UEZ director, of which you then previously also stated incorrect information before this council, in which you was incapable of defending. And I don't know how long you prepared for this, because I'm sure they didn't send you in here blind. You're going to come here and tell me tonight, first of all, you have no information. You have just about zero information. You're going to tell me that the cost to run the department is approximately. So we got to go through this whole song and dance so I can put my numbers together because you failed to present this information. Now I ask you a simple question based on the fact that you stated that we're now seeing was not a fact, that is in fact a lie. Because you're going to say to me that the city of Paterson is under the state required minimums. Do you hold any kind of license that within the building subcode division?
No, I do not.
You do not. So your expertise is what? Where's your expertise? How are you an expert? Why are you the one here presenting this when you have obviously no information and no
Point of order, Council President.
understanding?
Point of order, Council President.
One
Sure.
second.
Can you ask him what the point of order is?
Yes. Can I have a
Councilman
point of order
Velez,
to see if it's valid? I don't know. We here discussing
Councilman Velez, if you're calling a
order.
point of order, you have to
Yes.
state what the violation is. What is the violation?
The point of order is, Council President, and I think you could agree with me, is that we discussing something that is clear. We are amending the chapter of construction codes uniform to question a director, a deputy director, or somebody come here to present what we have in front of us to justify if it is fair or not, to question him, his expertise, his background in education or whatever, that's out of order for me. Because it's not had to be relevant at all with what we're talking now. If he have a solution of 20 minutes talking about what he's talking, if he has a solution better than what you have, then we can move forward. But question his ability to be up there, and this is the thing that we have to stop here, belittling the directors, employees that come here with expertise or whatever, presenting to us is good, but to question his professionalism and his background, education is out of order.
So just to respond to the point of order, Mr. Washington, the information that's being requested, if you don't have it with you, please.
Council President.
1 second, Councilman
That's not
Jackson.
answering to the point
No,
of
but
order.
I know, but
You're now, you can, I appreciate if you
No,
give me
I'm gonna
information, but
answer
can
it.
you please, because he's interrupting me while I have the floor,
Councilman,
which
let
you
me-
allowed. He
let me
called
just
for a point of
respond.
order, and we
Let
need
me-
an answer to his
let
point
me-
of order.
Let me respond. The information that's being requested, please make sure it is sent. Councilman Velez, I understand your concern is not something that is stated for a violation of a point of order. Councilman Jackson still has the floor. Councilman Jackson.
First of all, to the public, when you have a seated elected official that doesn't understand his role and doesn't understand the responsibilities of the council, in fact, someone's level of expertise and someone's knowledge of the fact of the context of what is being presented is in fact very much so relevant. Because if someone is coming before this city council presenting information that is inaccurate, it is the council's job. I mean, I can't help it if other people don't have the capacity to understand what's at stake here. But here we are looking to take an aluminum bat to the constituents' heads. We all know through past practices that if you're a developer, that you can circumvent certain fees. In fact, if that was not the case, the state wouldn't be in control of the very department that this gentleman is speaking in reference of today. Now, yet again, Mr. Washington, so maybe you can help me bring some clarity. I'm sure you have what's called a smartphone, and I'm sure you have, through your expertise, not your official training and or certification, because you acknowledge that you have none of those, but there has to be some level of expertise that you bring to the table that renders you a semi-expert in this area in which you're going to have the audacity to come. See, maybe they may let you lie to them, but I won't. You're not a resident of the city. You have a salary. You don't hold any licenses. Through today's exercise, you've proven not to have any background or expertise in the area. Yet, you want this council to go along with the notion of increasing fees that more than likely the general public is going to have a difficult time paying, and you can't even state why. The best answer you gave was, we are under the state minimum requirements. I wish this was
Look, I know he's rude, but that doesn't mean he's wrong.
like NFL Sunday, where we could bring the replay back, so I can show you that those was your words. That's not my words. You said that the state has a minimum required fee assessment guideline. Now, let me go back to the context. In New Jersey, there isn't, meaning is not, a single statewide minimum subcode fee. Instead, minimum fees vary by municipality and are set locally, generally range from $70 to $90 plus for a basic permit. Now, what is the proposed amount that you are proposing for a basic permit?
I do not have that information in front of me. That would have to be rendered by the construction official.
You don't have that either?
No, I do not. I believe I stated that at the beginning.
No, you said you don't have everything.
I don't have-
But you
I
said
do
you
not
were
have the
here
information
to
with me.
speak on his behalf and to answer to the questions that the council has.
So, Councilman Jackson, I want to welcome our new business administrator, Mr. Gallabak, and he's going to respond to the line of questioning. Mr. Gallabak?
Thank you, Council President. And good evening, Patterson and council members. Just want to make a few comments based on the back and forth, and then I'll yield the floor. Councilman, we'll get you the breakdown of that department, the names, the salary amounts as you requested. You'll certainly get that this week. Just in terms of the staffing, because there was a lot of talk about the different positions being vacant. Active postings, just January 8th, 5 days ago, several of those positions were posted, so the city is trying within the salary constraints provided by the council or by contract to fill those positions. And just, I want to, in defense of the director, in the sense that I don't think there's any attempt by anyone to intentionally mislead the fee situation here.
So what was the intent?
So if I may, Director, it is possible that there are many things within the DCA, within the state, where agencies put out strong recommendations, strong standards, but are not necessarily codified by statute. So it may be that we're a couple of words here are kind of changing the situation here. But I want to make one last point. This isn't solely coming from the administration because this is the policy we want and this is the most important priority on the agenda. We're putting the 26 transitional aid application together, and as everyone knows, this item was on the 25 MOU. The administration has an obligation to bring it to this legislative body. This legislative body, every council member has their own rights and voting rights, but if it didn't even get to the table, we would have a very hard time being taken serious in the 26 application. So it isn't solely that this is the #1 list priority of the administration. It is something that we agreed that the city would look at and visit to maybe one day get to a balanced budget without state aid. So those are the comments I have, Council President.
Councilwoman Davila?
I'm not done.
One second.
I'm not done. I still have the floor.
Well, Councilman Jackson, you should allow other council members also to be able to
You
speak.
had plenty of time before I got here. Nobody said anything.
We just
Nobody
started
wanted to
the-
say anything. Nobody had
we
any
just
questions for
started this
anyone.
item.
And this is New Jersey. She is more New Jersey than anybody at this table. Buckle up. What is that? Pandolfo, that's pretty cool. Thanks, Bobby. Brad?
You're almost halfway through the agenda without
Council-
one question being asked.
Thank you very much, Council President.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to just quickly read, because I see the questioning being asked, and I'm going to just say, I apologize to you. You should not be chastised the way you are, being attacked the way you are. You are the Assistant Director of Economic Development. There is a director. There is someone also who oversees this. I think you started by saying there was an emergency. Things happen. But I want to just refer, Councilman Jackson continues to speak. The numbers and the information and the increases, everything is here. There's 9 pages to it. But I wanted to just read something, because understanding that you're indicating that there's no statute in place or whatever, right? Here it says, whereas Chapter 183 has been amended over time to update fees and comply with state law requirements and local needs, including, and there's various ordinances and different years that this has been done. The third paragraph says, whereas fees established under the Uniform Construction Code, UCC, are intended to defray the city's cost of administering construction office operations, including staffing, inspections, plan reviews, and state-mandated surcharges for training and certification. And it goes on. So this is in writing here, right? So you're asking certain things. Just by me reading this, right, and what, you know, our new BA, which I say welcome to you on your first council meeting in Patterson, I understand that, you know, this is before us, and that, yes, there was an MOU in place, and, you know, it's difficult for us, right, to look at, you know, these items, especially when there's increases, right? And there's certain council members here that want specifics. I don't want to know who's working in the job, all right? That's not our responsibility, okay? We're legislators here. We have to make sure that that the money's in the budget, right, that's presented to us so we can move forward. But we have mandates. We have mandates as council members. There's an MOU that is before us that we all sign off that we read. And so I'm looking at this. I know that this has been an item that it's been taken off. It's been in committees. It comes to workshop. It's taken off a workshop, and now it's here for a second reading. So I don't know how this council is going to go and move forward. All right, but it's obvious to us that we do have a fiduciary responsibility.
Council
we do,
President.
and because we get monies from the state through DCA and through our MOU, all right, there are certain mandates. Now, if we did it, it's like receiving welfare, right? And you become a CWEP or an AWEP, and you now, right, get this money from the federal government, and they tell you you have to do 20 hours of training, and if you don't have a high school diploma, you have to get your GED done. There's different things. I look at it in that perspective, that right now the city is receiving money from the state, and that we have mandates. And so, you know, not saying that it's correct. I wish we didn't. I wish that we can be self-sustainable, right? That we have all this money coming into the city, that we just stabilize taxes, right? So that's my stance. I'm reading this and I'm saying here how it says that fees are established under the Uniform Construction Code and that they're intended to defray the city's costs of administrating constructions and so forth. Thank you very much.
Council.
Thank you.
Councilman Velez, and then
Thank you, Council President. So, Director, amending this chapter, how much do you think it's going to bring us to the city in 1 year?
Here. To avoid any misinterpretation of my response, I will allow on the next meeting for the construction official to answer, being that he has the accurate numbers and projections.
Without the amending, how much revenue was collected last year?
Approximately 1.2.
1.2 million. This ordinance address that the revenues will go directly to UCC?
That is correct.
And where it says?
According to the state, those funds are utilized for the UCC department and the staff and in all the other needs.
I don't know if CFO could confirm this. If this goes to general funding at this point?
CFO.
No, it would go directly to cover
To
the
UCC? Okay. So, so you presenting this to us, and you will get us approximately a number. We did 1.2 million in the past. Hopefully, if developers decide to come in and people decide to construct new houses or whatever, this revenue will increase, right? At the chapter, I know the last time was May 23rd, 2017, that the ordinance was amended, but it was not completely amended. It was only one part of the ordinance. So if you look at the 1979 up to 2017, not the whole chapter was amended at the same time, and every year was chapter one something, chapter this, chapter that, from this uniform code. What is new in this ordinance that I could say is new. Like, for example, I notice here that for be able to pull out permits or whatever, all taxes have to be up to date. That's new.
That's
Correct.
correct. And
Correct.
again,
So-
and I'll repeat, I do not have that specific information with me, as the construction official provided that information.
Correct.
So they're raising the prices of permits in Jersey, well, in Patterson, Jersey, and they're making it harder by putting more restrictions on it. I don't know how many people in this chat have tried to fix their home, but I can tell you permits, especially Jersey, are so freaking hard to get. And if you just use the wrong color ink, I know this for a fact because my daughter works for a roofing company, and that's her job. Every day she goes in, and every day I hear the same thing. Philadelphia and New Jersey, months it takes to get a permit. Imagine having a hole in your roof and waiting 3 months to get a permit. First month you're waiting, they send it back and they say, it's on an 8.5 by 11. You can't use 8.5 by 11. You got to use this size paper. Second month they send it back and they say, oh, you're not supposed to use blue ink. You have to use black ink. You have a hole in your roof. Every time it rains, it's ruining your house. So they are making it harder to get permits. By now, you have issues with your taxes or this or that or this or that, no permit. And they're making it not just a little bit more expensive, just listen.
Last time he was here.
So after that I say that's a new chapter on the ordinance, can I say that 183-10 is new and 183-11 is new and 183-12 is new in the ordinance?
Again, sir, I do not have that information in front of me.
No, I'm based on the document I have here. If I look at the document 183-12 construction certificate, and it says is underlined as construction, and the signed fees reserve, where it says the word reserve, that's a new item in the chapter.
Councilman, it's not new, the fees are increased. So the
Correct.
items in and of itself, the statute codes, which are clearly outlined in pages 1 through 9.
Correct.
It is not that the statute and the coding in the E360 code is new. It is just that the fees have increased and they are italicized and underlined so that you can see the variations of the difference. For example, 183-14, the fees were previously $176. For the fee for a permit for lead and asbestos, it is now going up to $200.
Okay.
So the amendments and corrections are right next to them.
So if it's
$200.
fair enough, Director, can you do me a favor? Can you pull the one that I just want to compare it with this one. The 2000, not the 12, I was not a councilman here at that time. The 2017, what we amended to, I just want to compare what we amended in that time, 2017 and this one. The ordinance of May 23rd, 2017. And then, to see how we go with this. Trying to get some solution while we are going over this, and not scare away people that want to fix their houses. Right now, taxpayers are going through difficult moments, and people that want to fix their houses, and a boiler breaks, and they sometimes don't have the money to even buy the boiler, but they had to go for a little loan and fix it, things like that. So we have to make sure that we're not putting more burden into small property owners and people that want to fix their houses, right? And also not scare away developers in the city of Patterson, though. So,
Thank you,
thank you, Council President.
Council President.
So there's been various requests. So can you please make sure that our UCC director who's not present because of an emergency has that information sent to all the council members prior to next week's meeting. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Council President. To the members of the public, people at home, I apologize to you guys tonight. I apologize on behalf of my council colleague who does not understand the requirement of council members to hold those people who are getting paid by your dollars, your tax money, accountable. I do not apologize to this gentleman for coming here and being unprepared. I do not apologize to this gentleman coming here and stating false information on record on behalf of you, all the public, right? Councilman Velez talks about, oh, we don't want to scare away developers. We know some people here work on behalf of developers only, but what I'm concerned about is that 75-year-old woman who possibly recently lost her spouse, who is having a difficult time managing her home, and then she has a hot water tank go down. So what's going to happen is we're putting the rest of the community at jeopardy. I'm going to tell you why. Because the fees are so much, they're going to do the job to replace the hot water tank without getting a permit.
Damn right.
Which, when
Absolutely.
these jobs is being reported to your office, because in my opinion, that's what you should really be doing. You don't have a license, you don't have any certification, and you're proving tonight that you don't have any expertise in this area. So at the very minimum, if there's, because somebody just sent me tonight another report while they're listening, right, in their yard, which, by the way, has been reported to their statement. This is someone built an entire tiny house behind the house. The same house was issued summonses for doing illegal conversions after they purchased the house. This needs to be removed. So maybe you might like to take a look.
Excuse me, I got it. Just
Okay, all right. So maybe the public, if you guys could zoom in on this so the public can see. Because all this illegal work, this is how these fires are starting. So if you're coming here, your fee assessment, and listen, I'm not apologizing for you. My sentiment is good for you. Like, you should come here. If you volunteer to come and take this beating, I apologize if nobody else is giving it to you, but you're gonna get it from me directly, because for a hot water tank, the increase is well over close to 200%. It went from $50 to $200 just for a hot water tank. So if I'm doing a minor improvement and I want to, dishwashers, it's reasonable, $20 to $25, a sink, $20 to $25, water heater, $40 to $75, steam boiler, $50 to $200. So that means if somebody's having some difficulty with their boiler, they're going to have to make some sacrifices, and then they get to, the boiler itself is going to cost them about $2,200, and now they got to pay $200 just for that one line item. That doesn't even include the general permit. So we know right now in Patterson, the biggest issue that we have is people doing illegal construction and illegal work. So instead of your department and everybody in your department being accessible and responsive, because I can show you the text messages when I text the subcode officer multiple times about these illegal dwellings, these illegal construction. So you want us to hit the community with more fees, but you guys are failing to do your job, of which I would never call you director, because I know you're not the director, but you should bear some responsibility in that. I even reached out to the director herself to say, hey, I'm calling your subordinates, I'm placing these complaints on record, and yet and still we have people building illegal houses in the 3rd Ward. So, I mean, listen, what you should have started with is you should have came here and you should have been honest. You should have talked about some of the things the BA talked about, the fact that this council agreed in advance via the MOU to hit the community over the head with more fees just to take more money so that it could be mismanaged. That's really the issue here. So we have people that's working, of which, to your statement, which, by the way, your credibility is really not shining very well tonight, because the information you gave already that's been false, so I can't even, put clear context on whether or not that department is generating the 1.6 or whatever $1 million you talked about. So just by these figures right here, you're projecting, or the projection should be that instead of drawing in about $1.5 million, you guys are looking to bring in about $5 or $6 million in the years to come. Is that not accurate?
You're going to have to ask the construction official, so I don't want to give you a misinterpretation or, as you so-called, lies.
Sir, listen, you don't have to be sensitive.
No, I'm not sensitive. I'm just responding to what you
You're
said.
the one who presented.
Everything I've said is a lie, so why continue the conversation?
So, Director,
Whoa, I'm sorry, Council President, I have the floor. Why continue the conversation? Because, sir, you're being paid. You're being paid by the public. And your job...
Insults. No, I'm not.
So,
I can handle this, Council President. It's not an issue.
no, but
So you're insulted because you lied and I called you out on it. I should have complimented you and apologized to you for lying. So did you not say that the state has a minimum requirement? Was that not your words?
Yes. And all the information you received was actually placed in conjunction accordance with DCA, with DCA representatives and the construction official. So you should then question the construction official and DCA when they put the numbers together.
So did you take any part in developing this this legislation that's being presented as the assistant director? Did you have any hand in it?
No.
None whatsoever? No. Okay, so what exactly are we paying you for? What is your role? What is your job description? What do you do?
Mine?
Yeah.
Director.
Wait a minute. His job description is public information. The public is witnessing him come here, crash and burn, lie to the council. He doesn't understand anything that he's presenting. He doesn't know the information. Almost every other item he's being questioned on tonight, he says, I'm sorry, I don't have that information. But yet and still, he has a 6-figure salary that he's being paid.
So
a non-resident, where, by the way, this council has a residency policy on all employees who work for the city. This gentleman has the audacity to come before the council to snub the questioning and call it an insult when he, in fact, gave inaccurate information.
So let me apologize to you, Assistant Director.
Another
The construction
apology.
code official had an emergency, and you agreed to step in for that purpose. So that's why I want to apologize. This is not a new item presented to the council. There has been no MOU agreed upon by any council members. The vote is scheduled for next week, and people will vote up or they'll vote down. That will be up to each individual council person, whether they're supporting it or not supporting. That's always a process. I don't see anyone that agrees to anything outside of a vote. Your vote is your agreement, whether to say yes or to say no, and that's what we will do next week as we move this item forward. And if people don't agree, next week when it comes forward, we can do that. At this time, Madam Clerk,
Council President, why would you interrupt me in the middle of my line of questioning?
And before you speak, Councilman Jackson,
you apologize to the gentleman
before you
who's
speak,
being
Councilman
paid.
Jackson, Corporation Counsel.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Just very briefly, I know there was some discussion back and forth about state minimum fees and updating this ordinance to comply with same. And so I will respectfully direct council to the Uniform Construction Code, Chapter 23, Section 5:23-4.19, which is the New Jersey State Permit Surcharge Fee. If you look at what the state minimum...
I'm sorry, Corporation Counsel, can you repeat that, please?
Sure. So it's Chapter 23 of the state code, and I'll just back up a bit so you have the full citation, Councilman. It's New Jersey Administrative Code, Title 5, Community Affairs, Subchapter 23, Subchapter 4, and it's Section 5:23-4.19. It's titled New Jersey State Permit Surcharge Fees. Under that code, subsection B says, the fee shall be an amount of 0.00371 per cubic foot volume of new buildings and additions. If you look at our ordinance in section 183-16, we actually don't have that minimum there. Our minimum is 0.00334. Additionally, if you keep reading, the state minimum, according to the statute, is the fee for all other construction shall be $1.90 per $1,000 of value construction. If you look at our code, however, it says that it shall be $1.70 per 1,000 for alteration. So if you look at the state statute and you look at our ordinance in section 183-16, our ordinance is lower than what the state statute has as listed here. And that's just one portion of it. I haven't gone through each, and I'm not in a position to speak about every minimum that we have not reflected in our ordinance. I believe the construction official is in the best position to do that, but at least with that section, our ordinance is below what the state requirement is in accordance with the statute that I read.
Thank you for quoting the state statute.
Council President.
Councilman Jackson.
Corporation Counsel, can you please point to me where this says there's a minimum requirement that the municipality must charge for fees? You just pointed out that we're under what the state guideline points out.
Corporation Counsel.
In reading what you just pointed out, because I'm on the same page as you're reading, I see exactly what you're talking about. I don't see any place here where it says that there's a minimum requirement provided by the state.
Corporation Counsel.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Thank you, Councilman Jackson, for that follow-up. So if you look at the state statute that I just referenced, in subsection B, it says amount, and I'm quoting here, it says, this fee shall be in the amount of, and it goes over the state numbers. So when the statute says this fee shall be, we interpret that to be a requirement from the state that the fee be that amount. And if you look at what the state says, according to the state statute, this fee shall be, and you look at what's in our ordinance is less than what the state says shall be.
So I'll just wrap here, which, by the way, I want to point out, through your interpretation in past issues, you interpreted shall to be ambiguous. David Sue, I hope you're watching, because relative to the code, our municipal code, I'm going to reference back to today's record to show that what you just said when the state says shall, how it's interpreted. Shall meaning is in fact, not ambiguous. So I just wanted to point that out. So again, what the director pointed out is the fact that we're raising fees to meet the minimum requirement. Here, it does not say that. In fact, the Corporation Council's interpretation clearly shows that we're under. So, listen, it makes no sense, ladies and gentlemen, for me to beat this dead horse. You know, when you have a job by a municipality, you are required to be capable of doing that job. And if that job means coming before the council to provide answers that the public deserves, I can't help it if you come here unprepared. That's not my responsibility. But more importantly, I'm not going to allow anybody to come here and insult the public by presenting false information and then to be so insulted by the notion of me even questioning him. I mean, is that, what kind of entitlement is that? That someone believes that they have the ability to come before this council and they should not even be questioned when they have the audacity to come here and present false, non-factual information. And listen, I don't know, because I have a simple Kennedy High School level education. When someone presents false or inaccurate information intentionally, what is that? I believe that's the definition of a lie. So, listen, man, it's unfortunately you had to come here and take care of that, but, if there's, anyway, I'll rest it there. I appreciate the moment, Council President.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we will now go into public portion. Thank you, Director.
Council President, before, I noticed you've touted, you finished the agenda. My items that were supposed to be on the agenda tonight, and how were they handled?
What items? I'm not sure what you're referring to.
The item that you would not allow me to present at the last workshop, that was also presented on this workshop agenda as well, with regard to removing us from the Garden State Growth Zone. And it's amazing how council members, including you, Council President, how you're fighting so extremely hard to stop this item from removing us out of the Garden State Growth Zone from being here. But instead of doing that, which would actually make millions of dollars for the city, we'd rather take it out on the public by raising fees.
So I love being blamed for stuff that's not factual. Madam Clerk, we're moving to public portion. That item that you're talking about has yet to go to committee, which was stated, and has yet to be signed off by legal. Your item that you're referring to, you put it on the agenda on a Word document. For me, I'm fair to all council members. I made the request, I said it the last time. All you have to do is give it to legal. Let them transcribe it to a legal document. I'm not holding your item, Councilman Jackson. I've told you here publicly, right here, what to do. Every council member does the same thing. You have the item, give it over to the legal department, let them transcribe it to the actual document paper, assign a resolution number, so it can be presented to the council whether they vote it up or down. And if you can do that between now and next week, it'll be on the agenda so it can be voted up or down. I'm not holding your item up.
Council President.
Just do that process.
Council President.
Councilman Jackson.
Through the chair, Corporation Council, can you outline in our code any place where it delineates that any item that's being presented on a workshop agenda is required to have any of those things that the Council President just outlined? Is there a place in the code that you could point us to that substantiates these facts, these false facts that Council President is
Corporation Council.
Thank you, Council President and Councilman Jackson. There is, as Council President stated, that there is no such requirement. But to the extent that any council members seek support for their item and their colleagues request a certain process be in place so that they can evaluate it, that would be my recommendation. Additionally, legal would have to evaluate the legality of any item that does go before council and advise the council on that. What council does with that is obviously up to them.
So, Corporation Council, can you outline to the public why you have refused to answer to my request? In fact, I asked for you to draft it. It was over a month ago, almost 2 months ago, you were sitting right here, and a second time you were standing over there, where I requested for your office to draft it. Now, considering the fact that you ignored my request and you failed to do so, can you outline for me anywhere in the code where it says it is required to have your review of any item that the council is prepared to vote on and approve?
Corporation Council.
Yes, thank you, Council President. So, Councilman Jackson, I obviously disagree with the premise of your question. I think the record is clear that you asked for a member of my office to work with you on this item. And while it is not the practice of my office to assign a member of my office to specifically work with the councilperson, I indulged you and specifically asked the member of my office to work with you on this item. And as far as my understanding is, that person is working with you on this item. I will get an update from that person. I will tell you that there has been some research on this item and whether or not the city can opt out. I could tell you a preliminary review of the way you drafted it is not entirely consistent with the law, but we're still evaluating how you drafted it and evaluating whether or not the Garden State Growth Zone permits us to opt out. We looked at the statute. There's nothing explicit in the statute, in the state statute, that permits a municipality to opt out. So now we're on to the next level of research, which is whether or not we can proceed, notwithstanding the lack of explicit permission or language in the statute to do so. I will also note that the Garden State Growth Zone does expire by its own terms. I believe it's in the middle of 2028. I have to confirm that. So we did assign an attorney as per your request. That attorney has worked with you, and we are still evaluating some of the other portions that I elaborated on. Thank you.
Thank you. Council President, a little further. So, Corporation Council, first of all, that's extremely inaccurate. One, I asked for you to draft it. I requested for this item to be drafted. And I said, which I'm glad that, you know, all workshops and all meetings are now recorded, what I said was, I lacked the confidence in you drafting it. And if you did not draft it, I would draft it myself. Of which was the identical process in which I've had to do multiple items. And I did ask for you to allow Mr. Ben David to have some oversight, just in case there was something that I may have overlooked and something so important. Now, relative to whether or not the state states whether or not we can opt out, it talked about opting in, and in fact, the city of Passaic opted out. I provided that information to you, your office, via email, and to Mr. Ben David, and to this council, if I was allowed to do the presentation that council president has yet again denied me. And I'm only laboring this out just so the public understands this. I made a request to remove us from the Garden State Growth Zone that will end this 30-year tax abatement and pilot program that developers are getting automatically. There's pages and pages and pages of pilots now since we've been in this program. Obviously, Corporation Counsel is another non-resident. He doesn't have a concern. His lack of concern and lack of effort in this shows that he does not have a concern to or any desire to move us forward with removing us. And furthermore, Corporation Counsel, I'm going to tell you what else. Since you've been so diligent doing your homework and doing your research, in 2021, this item was scheduled to expire, which it did. I'm sorry, it was scheduled to expire in 2023. I apologize. In 2021, the state readdressed it and extended it. We did not, as a municipality, vote to extend our participation. Other municipalities who participated in the Garden State Growth Zone, they in fact did take a vote to extend theirs. So yet again, because I'm trying to understand how you would like me to ask you. Maybe you would like me to get on a bending knee on behalf of the public. Once again, it is the responsibility of your office that you oversee to make sure that our residents are protected. This item expired according to our legislation. And it's well known that just because the state has drafted a piece of legislation that was indoctrinated or enacted upon does not mean the municipality becomes automatically inserted. The municipality must take action, and we failed to take action. So therefore, every single project that went into the Garden State Growth Zone since 2023 is essentially not eligible for the program, according to the fact that the city has not voted to extend ourselves in that. So are you prepared to give a legal opinion on that tonight?
Corporation Counsel.
Thank you, Council President. Again, I don't think it's productive to get into a back and forth or a debate with Councilman Jackson about his views of state statute and its implications. But we do believe that the state extended the Garden State Growth Zone, that extension automatically applied. And that's all we have to say on this matter.
So yet again, that's a lie, another falsehood. How does it automatically apply? It doesn't say, nowhere in the state legislation did it say the municipalities are not required to take action to vote to extend. Nowhere does it say that. In fact, other municipalities who's participating in the Garden State Growth Zone, they took action. They voted to extend their Garden State Growth Zone project, and Corporation Counsel is now saying that it automatically. Where does he get that assessment from? And I just want to mention this last thing. I'm not going to labor this too long, because
He already has labored it too long, but he has to pick on this one guy a little more. Don't worry, he's not done with him yet. He's not wrong, but he's not handling it right, but he's not wrong. And he seems like fighting very hard for the taxpayers. And it looks to me like he is. I don't know. Do you remember last week when he showed us that list? That was powerful. I want to contact my local lawmakers because of his list. He showed us the list, an 8.5 by 11 that was halfway full of lines. 7 years ago, that's how many properties had a tax abatement, which means they didn't have to pay taxes. That's how many properties. Then he showed us the list from today, and it was page after page after page after page after page after page. All of these properties that don't have to pay any taxes, which means the homeowners are picking up that bill. They have to pay these taxes. So it looks like he's fighting. It looks like he's fighting corporate America, number one, and for the taxpayers. And from what I've seen so far. So now he's fighting about this permit issue. And he's right. $200 for a permit is stupid. It's stupid. No one's going to get the permit. They're going to go around it. Abso-freaking-lutely. Who's going to pay that? No one. So yeah, there's going to be lots of issues. Fires is right. Fires is one thing. But tearing this man down, I don't know. I don't know. The way he's doing it, I don't know. I don't know.
It's kind of pointless. We only got to deal with this thing for 4 more months. You've seen tonight how he's utilized the manipulative position to give a poor analysis or description of how the law is being presented. In one hand, he outlines to the council that shall is ambiguous. Now, in another matter, when it benefits the administration differently, he talks about the firm exactness of shall. How can we trust someone who's tasked to lead the city by giving firm legal advice? We cannot. So here it is, a very important measure of which he defends, and this goes back to the council. So for everyone getting ready to cast your vote during this upcoming election, Understand how responsible you should be holding council members. We're not beholding to Corporation Council. We're not here to work as he sees fit. It's not about him writing legislation. Council President's depiction of the process is totally inaccurate. Corporation Council's involvement is non-required. Nothing that I write as a legislator requires for his review, requires his signature. It doesn't require to be placed on paper from his office. That is completely inaccurate. All it requires is that I request for it to be on the workshop agenda leading up to, and which I did. Of all of you sat here, watched me make the request 2 weeks ago or a month ago to be able to present information tonight, and she said that it wasn't placed on the agenda because it didn't go before a committee, it's not placed on paper from his office, and is a Word document. People, if you, and she's up for re-election, this is an item that I'm pressing that protects the public from being overran by these large-scale development projects that's getting 30-year tax abatements. And she's yet, once again here tonight, defending them instead of defending you. I'll rest it there. Thank you, Council President.
May I continue?
I'll give you 1 minute, Mr. Shailen.
That could have been settled by the mayor of this city just listening to Dave. And when the residents are left with no explanation, no corrective action, and no assurance that the safeguards that have been strengthened, that is not leadership. That is institutional failure. Patterson cannot afford a culture where enforcement depends on political relationships, whistleblowing, fear, retaliation, developers believing rules are negotiable, and taxpayers foot the bill for eternal dysfunction. This is not about personalities. This is about ethics, integrity, and public trust. The foundation of any functional government. So therefore, I'm calling for this council to do something, and I hope you just let me finish. It's just 3 more. I'm calling for this council to initiate an independent ethnic review of the policies and practices that allow this situation to occur. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm requiring a public report on what safeguards exist or do not exist to protect employees who enforce the law. Number 3, I am asking that you establish a clear, enforceable standard ensuring that no city employee is punished for doing their job and the taxpayers have to foot the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Shailen.
Just 1 minute. And to commit to a full and transparent in all and any future settlements involving taxpayers' funds. Patterson residents deserve a government that operates beyond suspicions, not behind closed doors. We deserve a system where the rules apply equally to everyone, not selectively. And we deserve leadership that treats ethics not as an inconvenience, but as a non-negotiable requirement of public service. 1 more sentence. Patterson's future depends on restoring trust, on transparency, and transparency, we all know, depends on this council choosing integrity over silence.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There are no more speakers. Is there a motion?
So move to close.
Motion to close by Councilman Khalid, second by Councilwoman Davila and Omar. Roll call to close the public portion.
Roll call to close the public portion. Councilwoman Cotton. Councilwoman Davila. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
This is allowed. You're allowed to start talking when it's your turn to vote.
A few items. So I have a few requests. Recently, I saw, and I'm gonna say a few things on record. The mayor lost control over the police department. The state comes in, does, makes best efforts to try to put a few things in place. There's a substantial amount of money that's being spent on a new control room, of which I have not had an opportunity to speak to the chief about. But the mayor then takes it upon himself to go and do the press conference and say, Patterson, we did it. We lost the police department, and had they not been here, that room wouldn't even be here. But yet the mayor is going to take credit for that. And I'm saying that for a specific reason, because there's certain things that's happening that is under his full control that he won't stand up and take credit for. The one example of the lot that was stolen from the church through this tax sale that should have never have taken place. But, these continued, issues that's going on is very disheartening. So, through the chair, Mr. BA, let me say this. I normally give a warming session. I normally give a grace period of whoever the new hire is, and normally we give a vote of support. When do we vote to actually? Well, I know we're in roll call. We can get that question answered later. When do we confirm the new appointment? But I normally give the benefit of the doubt. Based on the past track record, the previous BA tapping out within 6 months, I don't expect you to last even that long. I mean, you won't even have the choice of doing that because he's not going to be around that long. But I'm gonna be optimistic, if you will. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to do what you said. I mean, we only spoke briefly. You said you're here to service the council. As a council person, I'm entitled to information that, obviously what you saw tonight, there's a deliberate attempt on not providing information and being untruthful. But, I would like to know, I need a report on what the cost was for this new room that was put in place in headquarters. I want to know what the cost was and who expended the money. I would like to get a breakdown on the cost for the space. Additionally, and I know this is definitely falls outside of your purview, but I would like a full report from PD with the number of units, patrol units that we don't have in operation right now. Is my understanding we have over 36 to 40 police units that's not in operation. And I also want a list of all police personnel who have what's called a take-home vehicle. I want a list of all the police personnel who have a take-home vehicle, where they live, what is their role and responsibility. Are you not taking notes? You're going to review back to the okay. Where they live, and how is the fuel being utilized by these officers who live outside the city, all of the captains, all the battalion chiefs, and who have these take-home vehicles. Our police call response rate is less than desirable, and we just spent a great deal of money on this center, which I think definitely is going to serve the public well, but we have a substantial amount of police vehicles that's not in operation, and I want a full report on that. I also want a full report on the overtime by all the ranking officers, starting from lieutenant and up, all the overtime and what is exactly the overtime for. I know I'm giving you a lot, so you can just reference back to the video. There's a lot located on the corner of North Main and Heldon Avenue. I believe, I don't recall the exact address. I can forward it to you if I need to. But I do know that this lot has been issued summonses for illegal parking. They're parking 18-wheelers, of which, by the way, I know you may not be fully aware, this council indoctrinated legislation that made it illegal for commercial vehicle parking overnight. That includes on private property. So this lot has been ticketed multiple times, and apparently there's a holdup, and you can catch up with your guy right there and find out why the prosecution is holding up these fees and penalties. I would like to report on this. How many times have they been ticketed? This lot has been commandeered illegally. I don't expect you to, to get into the nuances of that, but I want to know, why is this lot and the owners of this lot continuously being allowed to park illegally on a non-paved surface, and why are they continuously being allowed to park commercial vehicles overnight? There's another lot on the adjacent block, which is doing the same thing. I mean, the inspectors, I know for sure the summonses was written. They've been to court. For whatever reason, the prosecution is not following up and not moving accordingly. I have the same circumstances going on Franklin Street, where there's a large number of commercial trucks that's being parked overnight. They're restricting the traffic flow of the residents that's living on the opposite street. I would like to get a full report on that. Well, listen, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. He says that, I'm giving it, and how long do you think it'll take for you to consume some of this information?
There's no rebuttal and roll call.
As soon as possible. As soon as possible. Okay. It's amazing how they work on behalf of other people, and they work to try to contain. The objective is to come here and contain Councilman Jackson, and I mean, they continue to fail time and time again, but it doesn't stop their ambition. I appreciate that. Ambition is something. So, just in answer of certain things, Brother Keys, I always appreciate your candor and your ability to recall clearly the facts and outlining those facts by quote, because sometimes people forget what they say, and they have to be reminded. And it is unfortunate that, yes, probably one of the most powerful individuals that walked this earth, and the impact that the gentleman had is the individuals from Patterson that took place in taking his life. That's profound. And then you have someone else who has exhibited those same traits, come into the city of Patterson, rendering his time, submitting his time to the people, to provide information, to possibly lend this council tutelage or insight on the prevention of gentrification. And not only are they uninterested in hearing it, but they refuse to allow the public to hear it as well. But no poor deed goes unattended, I guess, or goes unanswered. People will answer to those activities in this upcoming election. Cameo Black, I'm always appreciative. I would love to speak to the young lady. I'm not surprised at the activities or the actions of the councilman. He makes it a habit on putting his foot and all other things in his mouth, and doing things that are inappropriate to the public. I'm trying to recall some of the other items that was questioned upon tonight, but members of the public, listen, you're watching, and if you're incapable of understanding, the director or the assistant director has the audacity to come here tonight, and this is your money. These are your dollars that's being misappropriately spent. He doesn't have the ability to answer anything, any questions. Council members are now trying to stop me from asking questions such as, what is his role in the city. He's being paid by you, by the way, of which his role should be clearly outlined. He should be proud to speak upon what his role is. He should talk about, how not only is he fulfilling his role, but how even tonight he's stepping outside of the parameters of his role, and we see clearly that he's incapable of doing that. Why would he be entrusted to do such a thing when he can't answer one pertinent question, knowing that he's going to get some tough questions tonight? So it's just another example of what we're dealing with. And people, I urge you to maintain these thoughts, these visions, these memories on the 12th of May, because it's important. We need to clear the stage of everybody who is, deliberately acting against. And I'm going to do this last thing, and I apologize, because I know you're in a rush just to say yes. But,
You talking to me, Councilman?
no, I'm not talking to anyone in particular. But this is what we witnessed tonight. On the Friday preceding each regular meeting, and I'm going to read it slow in case some people don't understand it. Again, on the Friday preceding each regular meeting, the clerk shall prepare, with the approval of the president, the agenda for the ensuing meeting. Such agenda shall include all matters proposed by any council member, any member of the council, my apologies, not later than the preceding work session, and such other matters required by the standard order of business. The agenda shall include, shall being the optimal word here, include a consent agenda. The consent agenda shall include all resolutions deemed to be routine or procedural in nature, and or resolutions pertaining to the related subjects. Those matters include with the consent agenda shall be enacted upon by one resolution at the council meeting. Any member of the council may cause any matter containing within the consent agenda to be removed. Therefore, it be acted upon separately by giving notice to the council clerk, to the city clerk, or council prior to formal action on the council agenda. When a request is made to remove a matter from the consent agenda, that matter shall not be considered as part of the consent agenda and shall be enacted upon separately at the same meeting. Nowhere in these words that I'm carefully and slowly reading to anyone does it say that an item requested by a council member requires approval by corporation council. Nowhere in this charter, by the way, all of this information is readily accessible on the city website. Nowhere does it say it has to be presented on a particular style of paper. Nowhere does it say it can't be drafted by a legislator, one who is supposed to draft legislation. Nowhere does it say that it has to be printed in certain color ink. Nowhere does it say it has to be listened to and or heard and or debated at a committee. Nowhere does it say in the code that a council member doesn't have the privilege and or right to place an item on the agenda that shall move forward to the regular meeting. Nowhere does it say that. So, members of the public, you're being lied to. Nowhere does it say anywhere that these items are to be required. And just for a point of clarity, the second item that I asked to be placed on the agenda, and I will acknowledge I did not have time to draft it, was an item that was recently adopted by the city of Passaic. And this item prevented landlords from evicting tenants because their rent values are too low. What's happening right now in Patterson is an epidemic where landlords are upset that they're not collecting enough rent, and they're evicting tenants for any frivolous reasoning, only to be able to hike the rents up over $2,000, $2,300. What this legislation that I'm proposing does, it prohibits landlords from taking such action. In fact, they will still be restricted by the 5% guideline that's already set by this council. So, why an item such as this isn't being supported? You've witnessed on numerous other occasions where council members request to be a co-sponsor on such an item. Not one council member, not Udine, not Mims, or Davila, who are all up for re-election, requested to be a co-sponsor. What they did was intentionally remove the item so it would not be discussed and it would not be considered. Patterson, if you're a resident that's experiencing difficulties because of the exuberant rents in the city, these three individuals do not care to entertain legislation that will prevent the landlord from illegally evicting you because of a track record of poor payment or any other reason behind it in order just to raise the rent. These three council members are refusing to vote and or even discuss an item that protects you from being targeted and being, illegally evicted. And they're also refusing to discuss the measure to remove the city from the Garden State Growth Zone so that the developers can no longer take place in an extended 30-year tax abatement pilot program. These are the individuals that are now going to be on the ballot in this upcoming election. With that being said, Madam Clerk, I appreciate the time and the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mendez, Councilman Udine, Councilman Velez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to say two things here. Probably legal could probably later on advise me, but I respect freedom of speech, and everybody had the right to come here and express themselves or relieve themselves of the stress and come here because they don't let them talk at home or whatever, They could come here and talk and point out and slander and do whatever they want. But Corporation Council, just want to elaborate on this statement. It's in the record and it's in TV land. Nobody could erase this, what happened today. Corporate Council, somebody used the public portion.
Listen, Rose. New Jersey is not English. They have their own language, and we need to respect that.
And slander, and not only slander, threat me and my family from that public portion. Okay? Things goes around in the city, out of the city. I know reports have seen council members getting shot and killed. The political hate is out there. But to come over here and express themselves, I will go after your family, your wife, and you. That's a threat. And it's coming from a person that live about 5 houses away from my house. I could come, I don't care, but when people come here and threat people like that, is a concern. We get out late from work from here, we go home late, and we don't have that luxury of escort when we go home. So you never know if that same way to be, other people are listening and they could do whatever they want. So just take notice on that. PD is on the tape. So if something happens to my family, me, and my wife is noted that came from that podium. Everybody had the right to run an election, and everybody could put petitions and run. There's 3 seats available but they taken right now. But I am going to say this, and the residents of Patterson are not naive, they're not stupid, they know, they see this council meetings. But if you come to this podium with the agenda criticizing, slandering, harassing council member, you don't think the voters of Patterson is not going to see that? And you think that they're going to bring that to the council in this side? They smart. They know they're not going to vote.
Sometimes I feel like I'm smart. I do. Sometimes I feel that. But trying to figure out what this man is trying to say to us, the point that he's trying to get across, I can't. I think he's slamming Michael Jackson right now. I think. That's where I'm heading with that. But he's not using... Yes, the people of New Jersey are very smart. Yes.
For people like that to come to the council. So you imagine what they have to offer. If they act that way in that podium, what they're going to bring to the council. No solution, no solution, no solution.
And that's why I think it might not be for Michael Jackson, for what he said right there. It sounds like he's talking about someone at the podium. Also, I don't think Michael Jackson threatened to kill him and his whole family. So maybe he's not talking about Michael Jackson, but I think he will in a second. I think he's smushing some bunch of things together, thinking we're just following along.
Meanwhile, we hear committee meetings, talking about everything the administration bring forward, trying to make sure that the taxpayer don't get the burden, making sure we do ordinance and laws and policy that protect the quality of life for the city of Patterson. Out of 9 council members that we have here in this side, I could test and say clearly that 8 council members sit down and talk in committee what is good for the residents of Patterson and the taxpayer of Patterson.
So what he just said there, for the 9 people that were seated here, 8 of us talk. So that, I think, is a direct slam to Michael Jackson, I think.
Meanwhile, people talk 2 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours, take the whole meeting, and there's no solution behind their words. So voters out there are smart. They use the wisdom, and they know who they want to see here continuing doing the work. So that platform of coming here and I'm going to take your seat and I'm going to bury you, I'm going to take you out and all that stuff, the people out there that really vote, they say, do really
I think that
Patterson
is someone
need
else.
that type of people? No. So do your homework. Oh, well, I'm going to expect next week a rebuttal. But
from Michael Jackson or from the
member
of the audience?
Here and listen to everyone, and we read the documents. We're not perfect like other people on my right side, but we try to do common sense that when we say something is not working, we plan a solution. And that's the difference of us in this side. We plan a solution. So, Corporation Council, I know that we recently draft or adopt a ordinance addressing the smoke shops. And that had to be revisited, okay? And the language had to be corrected, to exclude supermarket, liquor stores, or whatever, because this ordinance was mainly to address smoke shops. And please tell the...
So did you hear that? Remember on January 9th when I played the first meeting, the audience was filled with a whole bunch of children. Not like toddlers, older children. Not like teenagers though. maybe some teenagers, early teens. Don't say that. And they were all against these smoke shops. And they all came out to get rid of these smoke shops. And the council was, all of them, even Michael Jackson, all of them agreed that they were going to, do something to get rid of these smoke shops. This is the next meeting. And now he's saying, well, we got to change the language of these smoke shops because we don't want the grocery stores and the liquor stores getting hit by this. So the big companies, they don't want them to get hit by this. They want the little smoke shops hit.
Health board director, whoever it is, Dr. Passad, whatever, to instruct their inspector to not create policy that is not in the book, to go over the ordinance and try to be a little bit more friendly inspector when they go to this business and not act like a full law enforcement capacity.
Do it, Queen.
Madam Clerk,
I'll be Dobby.
my vote is yes to close the public portion.
So we saw part 2 of that public meeting. Michael Jackson is someone to try to figure out if he's doing good or not. Is he just talking? Or is he trying to do real change for the people? I don't know. It'd be nice. It would be damn nice for me to go to a council meeting here where I live and see someone up there talking for 30 minutes about how expensive my permits are. Am I going to get a permit this year? No. Am I going to do improvements? Maybe. Am I going to get a permit? No. So does it affect me what the price of a permit is? It does not. It doesn't affect me at all. But it would be nice to see a councilman fighting for the price of something to not be raised a little bit. You know what I mean? They're going to up to $200 for a permit. Now those permits, the money for those permits are supposed to be used to staff and things like that. Yeah, well, guess what? They're not staffed. Right now, they're not staffed. I have zero confidence that if they get more money for those permits, they're going to be fully staffed. I just don't. Because you heard what he said, or maybe you didn't, I don't know. The money goes to the UCC or the UUC. I think it's UCC. Goes to them. So what the heck? How is that supposed to help with staffing? It can't. It just can't. Maybe I need more information. Maybe I need to read more, but that's what I heard. Well, that's what I heard from this hearing. I'm a member of the public. I don't live in Patterson. I don't even live in Jersey, but I live here and things like that go on here. So, boy, he makes me want to just go to my council meetings and read my minutes and talk to my CFO. I want to know how many businesses have abated taxes. I just want to. And it's public information, so I can find out. I just need energy. I need to actually take the steps to make the phone call. But I have something more important to call tomorrow, right, Bobby? All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. Sorry nobody came. The reason why is nobody's notified. So because I have 2 live streams during the day, YouTube only allows a creator to send out so many notifications a day. They're not allowed to send out any more than that. So when I do a live stream at night, nobody gets notified. Nobody gets told about it. You guys know because you're in my Discord. And I've talked about it during the streams. So you guys knew. But no one else knows. It'll never be sent to other people because I used all of my notifications. I'm streaming tomorrow, Bobby. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do an international war crimes case. I think it's, or crimes against humanity. One of those 2. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. And I think I'm going to do a corruption case. Government official buying flowers for his staff, buying himself a car, giving money to all these churches where his children play soccer at. That's why, anyway, that's what we're going to do tomorrow. They're not funny. They're not Karens. They're not subsets. They're not, but this is what I got. So this is what we're going to play in the morning. All right. Thanks for coming out, guys. I really appreciate you a lot. I really do. I'll see you all soon. Yes, live. Wait, do I have plans tomorrow? Why is everybody asking me if I'm going to be live tomorrow? Am I forgetting something? January 15th, Thursday morning. Did I say I was supposed to be somewhere? Yo, you got to tell me now, because I won't be able to sleep unless you guys tell me. Yes, Bobby. I don't know, Linus. Why are they asking me if I'm streaming tomorrow? Don't I stream every day? I hope you all know. I'm going to be tossing and turning until the stream tomorrow, wondering if I'm forgetting something important. Then I'm not going to be awake for the stream tomorrow because I'm going to oversleep. You all did it. It's 4:30 in the morning. Where the hell else would I be? Bars aren't open yet. Okay. CJ, love you. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Well, I thought I'd write a happy song. I found a chat room where I belong. You don't know how much it means to me. With such a groove, I'm less lonely. Oh, Kathy's the creator. She's leading the way. At Court Vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her smile shines bright. She's got that grace. Come join the fun. It's a welcome and play. I can count on distraction from my pain, 'cause this creator takes you there and back again. Kathy is the heart here, always in stride. Her work is hard, but her joy she can't hide. Oh, Kathy's the creator. She's leading the way. At Court Vibes, we laugh and we stay. Her style is classy. She's always top shelf. Don't take my word. Come and see for yourself. Her cases are new with a twist or two. I really like them. I believe you will too. A little lifeline passed along in rhyme. Why don't you join us? It's a guaranteed good time.